Good morning, everyone. Can you greet your seatmate? Just tell your seatmate, good morning, Mr. Blooming or Miss Gorgeous. Okay, so today we're going to talk about human connection. So, I have a question for you, and you don't need to answer it right now. Why did you choose to sit beside your seatmate today? Uh-huh. Friends, okay. So hold that thought for a while, and later on, we'll figure out why you chose to sit where you are seated right now. Okay? So I want you to find a partner, preferably someone that you haven't worked with before, or someone that you don't know yet. Okay, find a partner. Alright, so you found your partner already? So how did it feel to be mirrored and to mirror? Okay, first muna, how did it feel to be mirrored? Happy, okay. I want to hear from you.
Happy.
Happy, alright. Okay, what else? How did it feel to be mirrored? Happy, and then what else?
Conscious.
Conscious, ah.
Awkward.
Awkward.
Flattery.
Ah, flattered.
Amazing. Sabi na nila lahat.
How about from this side? How did it feel to be mirrored? Okay. There. How did it feel to be mirrored?
Fun.
Fun.
That's one. And humbling.
Humbling. Okay. How about from this side?
Uplifting.
Uplifting. Okay. How about from this side? How did it feel to be mirrored?
Energized.
Ah, energized. Okay. So, all those were positive emotions, right? Awkward. So, I think you were warming up. How about when you were the one mirroring the other person? How did you feel doing that? Confused? Enjoyed? You enjoyed? Okay, what else? Focused. You were focusing. You were paying attention. Uh-huh. What else? You feel respected. Anticipating? Okay, anticipating the next step. Alright. Thank you. Hindi ko narinig. Ano yung original word mo? Expecting. Alright. What else? Interesting. Okay. Did you feel like you were a bit more connected to the person when you mirrored that person?
Yes.
Yes. So there is a science behind it. One of the ways by which we can build connection with other people is what we call mirroring. So, going back to my question a while ago, why did you choose your seats? Why did you choose to be seated beside your seatmate? Okay, so ito very interesting, kaya gusto nating marinig yung mga thought process niyo behind it. Or maybe subconsciously, you are drawn to sit beside a particular person. Why? Why do we like other people? And why do we hate other people? So, why do we feel connected with other people? And why do we feel disconnected with others? So let's process that. Okay, so the question is, why did you choose to sit where you're seated right now?
Well, I'm just sure connecting. No, because I want to really focus and connect with when you discuss things. So at least I'm focused. Kasi pag sa likod, I feel like there's a lot of distraction. I see a lot of people. So since I want to focus and observe as much as I can, that's why I really prefer to sit and hop on.
I love it. So proximity to the stage or the speaker. Okay, I love it. Thank you. Yes.
I chose to be seated beside my teammates Doreen and Melody because I feel that they're the two persons I'm most comfortable working with and seated with.
There. So,
Every day.
so you already know them. You feel connected with them.
Right.
Okay. How about you guys? Magkakatabi kayo?
It's our monthsary.
Sino? Siya or siya? Sila dalawa. Happy Mansari, guys.
Basically, familiarity. I look
Aha.
for faces that I'm most familiar with.
Yes, familiarity. So this all boils down to mirroring. You feel connected because there is similarity, familiarity with the person. You know the person already, or these two people already. Okay. So the commonality that we saw was that you sat beside each other because you're familiar with each other. There were two unique answers from Josephine and from Joe and from our friend from Japan, Shinya. So si Shinya, he has a coffee holder there. And then Joe, she wants to be near the stage. So if you take a look at it, why is it that you are more close to some of your friends, but there are friends wherein you don't really feel excited when you go out? Commonalities, similarities. But here's the thing. Have you ever tried dining with strangers? You did it? Time left? Okay. Who among you experienced dining with strangers? Joe, okay. Lahat kayo mga time lefters? Time left? Correct? Okay. So, think about this, right? When you go to a dinner with strangers, time left, so I also do that. When you go to dinner with strangers, you don't know each other. But what's your experience? Do you bond instantly? Do you connect instantly? Yes? Somehow, yes, right? So, why is that?
Try to establish a common denominator that would get to be more comfortable.
Yes, establish a common denominator. So here's why. So in this setting, why is it that you chose to sit beside the people you know? This is an opportunity to meet new people, right? Why do we get excited to go to a dinner with strangers? So the difference is when you dine with strangers, you know that you're all strangers to each other. That's the commonality. Versus, let's say for example, you go to a party and you only know your friend. So you only know your friend, there's only one person that you know, and then you know that these people are friends already. So the tendency is you want to stick with your friend because you feel like there is a connection already and you're already familiar with each other. And you also feel like there's a barrier to entry to enter another group because they're already bonded, right? So pretty much in this setting, a lot of you are comfortable to dine with strangers. But right now, you are more comfortable to sit with the people that you already know. Why? It's because, they're already bonded because they're teammates. So maybe I'll stick with my team because I feel safe with my team. So today, I'd like to challenge you, maybe after the break later on, to please move around and sit beside someone that you don't know yet. So this is now, we are now giving you permission to permit the other teams to bond with other to bond with other teams. Okay? When you dine with strangers, here's the commonality. You're all strangers. That's one commonality. And then when as you keep talking, you realize, why did the app suggest that all of us would meet tonight? And you would realize, it's because of this and this and this and this. So it's really mirroring. It's really having those things that you have in common. So one time, I attended the Time Left dinner, and we were all women. And we were wondering, so why is it that the app connected all of us? So later on, during the conversations, we realized that we were all solo travelers. We loved traveling solo. We loved to be independent, to explore new places by ourselves. So that's one of the things we had in common. Last night, or 2 nights ago, I had another dinner because Time Left dinner is every Wednesday night. So I had another dinner in Quezon City, and you would see that the vibe is different in BGC, in Ortigas and also in QC. So the QC vibe is very laid back. And this time around, there were 4 of us, 2 women and then 2 men. And we talked about very deep stuff like mental health, trauma, childhood experiences, but in a very light way and still in a very safe way. So imagine that was our first time to meet each other. Why would you talk about your trauma to one another, right? Why you talk about therapy and things like that? It's because our subconscious knows that there is a connection with this person, and sometimes consciously we don't know yet what that connection is, but our subconscious knows. Our body knows. Okay? So now what we're going to learn is the art of seeing people. The best relationship is a relationship where you feel seen for who you really are. You are seen for your weaknesses, for your strengths, and you feel accepted. You don't feel like you have to wear a mask to be accepted. Agree? Okay, so if you have tissue, prepare for your tissue. Just kidding. Okay, so before we talk about connection, let's first talk about disconnection. Have you ever felt disconnected? You can be in the midst of your friends and family, but you feel alone. You feel like nobody knows me, nobody sees me, nobody cares about me. Have you ever felt that? In the workplace, have you felt disconnected?
Yes.
Okay. So,
It's been open for years.
so how do you feel that, what made you say that sometimes you feel disconnected at work? I'll get the mic. Okay, walang lalabas sa room na to, ha? Atin natin lang.
Baka mamaya wala na akong trabaho. Hindi, based from my experience, I feel disconnected when some of the team members don't share the updates or they don't want to, let's say, invite you in some team engagement or something like that.
Yeah.
Unseen or unheard when you give opinions or kasi opinions or share your knowledge on how to resolve certain issues based on your experience. Yeah.
Oh, ang ganda ng sinabi ni Aldrin. Thank you, Aldrin. So, yes, thank you. And thank you for being honest. And here's the thing, all of us feel disconnected at some point. From time to time, we feel disconnected. So now, we're going to address first, what are the symptoms of disconnection at work? How do we know that our team members are already disconnected? And how do we know that we are disconnected? We feel disconnected. Okay, so just a very short story. I had a group chat with my friends. So if you're a woman, sometimes you have a lot of group chats, right? And most of the time it's with 3 people. Agree? Okay. So I have a group chat with there were 3 of us in that Viber group. And friend A was asking for advice from me and friend C. So we were giving her advice via Viber group. And then someone knocked on my door, so I opened the door, and then it took me about an hour or 2 before I could go back to the group chat. So I was scrolling the past conversations, and friend A was thanking friend B. No, friend C. Ako pala si friend B. So friend A was thanking friend C. And I was asking myself, oh, nagbigay din naman ako ng advice. I also gave advice. Did she thank me too? So I was really reading oh no, she didn't thank me. I felt unseen. I was in the conversation, but I felt unseen. And my immature thought was, mag-leave na kaya ako sa group. So, to cut the long story short, good thing because I have a very beautiful and vulnerable relationship with friend A. We can talk about anything. We can say something like, oh, when you did this, I got hurt because da-da-da-da-da. So I talked to friend A and I told her, you know, I got hurt when I felt, not really got hurt, I felt unseen when you only thanked friend C and you did not thank me. And then she said, no, I thanked you. No, you didn't thank me. And then she said, oh, it was an honest mistake. right? But here's the thing, what if we didn't have that connection? What if we didn't have that level of friendship? I would just say, I won't give you advice anymore. If you're immature, right? Or if you're going through something, or if that has been happening for so many times already, maybe you'll just say, oh, I'm taken for granted. I feel unseen. I feel like my contribution did not matter. Right? So that was scenario 1. Now, scenario number 2, I was the one who was asking for advice from another group chat, messenger. So there were 5 of us women in that messenger group. So I was asking for advice. And friend A gave me advice. So, different groups to ng friends. So, friend A gave me advice. And I read the advice after waking up and I did my morning routine. And then I read my messenger and I said, friend B, thank you so much for your advice. So, in the initial scenario, I was the one who felt unseen. In the next scenario, I was the one who made friend A feel unseen, right? Because I thanked friend B, but it was friend A who gave me advice. So friend B said, Sha, no, it was not me who gave you advice. It was friend A. And I looked back, oh, I'm so sorry. I just woke up. Thank you for letting me know, friend B. And then, friend A, thank you so much for making the time to give me this advice. See, what if friend B did not correct me? And what if I did not notice the mistake that I did? And what if friend A also did not notify me that, Sha, I was the one who gave you advice. And what if friend A just said, I won't give advice to Sha anymore? Right? So this is why connection is very important. There are different levels of connection, which we will discuss later on. Seen is the highest level of connection. When you feel seen for who you really are, seen for your strengths, seen for your weaknesses, and being accepted, that is the highest level of connection. And that is where you unlock your potential and your team's potential as well. So we're going to uncover strategies on how to make other people feel seen. Okay? And this is something that we can use not just in the workplace, but also in our personal lives, with our family members, with our lovers, with our romantic partners. So, what are the symptoms of disconnection in the workplace? Let's take a look at some examples. Bare minimum engagement. You just give the bare minimum so you won't be kicked out of your job. Right? So, there. That's, for example, an employee completes tasks but avoids suggesting. Maybe because that one time when she suggested something, the suggestion was shut down. Or maybe she felt humiliated or embarrassed when she gave that suggestion. And now she did not feel to speak up, and she was just playing safe. Playing it safe. Bare minimum na lang siya. Alright? The other symptom is that reluctance to share ideas. So during team meetings, you ask your team, okay, team, can you share some ideas? What do you think? And you would feel that there is a muted meeting. Only those who are active, who are maybe super extroverts are sharing. The introverts are very quiet. So, during a brainstorming session, a team member hesitates to share ideas. Again, because most likely that team member did not feel like it is safe to speak up. Okay? Next is emotional withdrawal. Have you ever felt this? Maybe at work, maybe in your relationship, maybe in your personal life. You're not emotionally invested anymore. You are physically present but mentally absent. You don't feel a connection. Maybe you're dining with a friend or you're dining with your loved one, and you feel like, are we okay? You feel that there is that wall, you feel disconnected. So maybe because that person has emotionally withdrawn. Okay? Another is avoidance of team activities. Let's say your team says, "Oh, let's have lunch out. Let's have lunch outside." And then you say, I'll pass. So maybe because that person is already disengaged, he or she didn't feel the connection. Or sometimes, when you attend the party, you scan the room and ask yourself, do I feel a connection with these people? No, okay, I'll go home earlier. Right? But if you feel a connection, you stay. So, going back to the dinner I had last Wednesday, so the group said, oh, Sha, let's go to the after party. So who among you here goes to the after party as well from Time Left? None? Okay, so just to give you a background, Time Left is an app. It's an app wherein the app would suggest where you'll have dinner, and then it would pair you with several strangers for dinner. And then after the dinner, for example, all the Makati Time Lefters, there's an after party in Makati. And then all the QC, there's an after party in QC. So, the friends I had dinner with, the friends I had dinner with said, oh, Sha, let's go to the after party. It was only 9:30. And the vibe in QC was very chill. So I said, okay, let's go to the after party. I'll just stay for maybe 15 minutes. I'll just check the place. So when I went to the after party, it was a bar, and I don't go to bars. So it was a bar, and there was a live singer. I instantly felt a connection with the people there. And one person said, "Oh, we booked this place for this particular number of hours, and our consumable is this much." So I computed, okay, how many people are there? Oh, they need to spend this much amount of money to be able to meet the required consumables. And so I said, I need to order to help mitigate the expenses. So I ordered, and I ended up staying there for 1 hour and 30 minutes because I felt connected. And to be honest, I didn't want to go home yet. I still wanted to stay. But I had a pickleball game the next day, so I said, I really need to go. So there, if you feel a connection with people, you find ways to stay. You find, and this is the same in the companies, right? Sometimes there are logical reasons for you to leave the company. But if you like the people you work with, if you feel connected, you find reasons to stay. Because at the end of the day, we don't just look at money as the motivating factors, one of the motivating factors, but we also look at, am I connected with my teammates? Do I enjoy working with these people? So there. So avoidance of team activities. Another is keeping to oneself. Super yaman mo, may sarili kang mundo. Diba? So, keeping to oneself. A team member avoids interacting with colleagues. Do you have team members like that? It could be that they're just socially awkward, but it could also be because they don't feel a connection with the team. Or maybe if you're a leader and you're asking your team members, team, can we talk about this particular issue, or can we talk about this project? And you don't feel the excitement from the team. You feel like you're doing all the heavy lifting to motivate them. Hey team, maging excited naman kayo. Ako lang ba excited dito? Diba? So, keeping to oneself, isolation. Maybe they have ideas. Ang dami-dami na nalang sinasabi, hindi mo lang naririnig. They're already saying a lot, but you just don't hear it because it's just in their minds. Like, wala namang kwenta yan. Or ang dami-dami lang side comments, but you don't hear it because they're already disengaged or disconnected. Now, there is a way to bring the connection back. Or if there was no connection in the first place, to build that connection. So that when there is a team member who is disconnected, you say, oh, you are letter R. It affects your mood. It affects your mental health. It affects it may make you lonely. Okay, so what are the effects of disconnection? If your team is disconnected, or if you are disconnected, what are the effects? So let's take a look at the effects in 3 areas: physical health, mental well-being, and productivity at work. Okay? So these were all based on studies. Disconnection is comparable to the risks of smoking. So even if you're not smoking, if you feel disconnected, it can increase your mortality by 26%. And this was from a study The source was Holt, Lonstad, and others. Okay? Now, how about for your mental well-being? What's the effect? Can we all read? Prolonged loneliness can cause anxiety, mental health disorder, depression, and even depression. So one of the antidotes to depression is connection, real, authentic connections. And of course, since we're talking about we're talking about connection or disconnection in the context of the workplace, and if you are the leader, if your team is disconnected and he's not doing the job well or on time, it affects not just you but the entire team, and not just the entire team but ultimately the organization as a whole. Okay, so disconnection is a very serious issue. Now let's talk about the positive benefits of connection. So why is human connection important? If you came to this room and you had no teammates, for example, you're a newbie, you were first time, you were with Accenture maybe for a couple of months, and this is your first time to attend a team building or a seminar like this, and you know that everyone has been with the company for a couple of years already, how would you feel? And when you enter the room, everyone is so connected, happy, cheery, happy, and then sharing banters with each other. No one was talking to you. How would you feel? Out of place. Yes. What else? Uncomfortable. And no one really talked to you. But you could see, oh, they're all connected. Like, from afar, if you were from afar, you see, ang ganda ng relationship nila. But how about me? Would you be excited to attend the training session? The next meeting? But what if there is one person who is your friend? And then you go to the training together, how would that make you feel? Excited, right? So what if there are 1,000 people and you only know one person? Is that still okay? Yes, because there is that one person who sees you, who knows you, and who you can count on. That is the power of connection. You can be in the midst of 5 people, just 5 people, and 4 people are so connected and there is no connection with you, and you feel isolated. 4:1, right? But you could be in the midst of 10,000 people and you only have one friend, and you still feel very much connected, right? So that is the power of connection. And so now that we're talking about this, now we look at connection from the perspective of a leader. So, if there is a team, if you have a team, if you lead a team of 5 people or 10 people and one is a newbie, now you know how it feels for that newbie to feel, you know how that newbie would feel, right? So as a team leader, it's up to you to let that team member feel like she's not out of place, that she belongs to the team. Okay, so briefly, let's talk about the positive benefits of human connection in terms of 3 areas: physical, mental well-being, and also productivity. So if you want to be healthy and if you want to live long, it is very important to prioritize connection with other people. Have you watched the Netflix series Blue Zones?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. What were some of the reasons why these people lived up to 100? So Blue Zones, they explored areas all over the world wherein there were a lot of centenarians, so people who lived up to 100. And they uncovered what is the reason why these people have long lives. So what was one of the reasons?
I believe one of the reasons is they are in a community
Yes.
of people having similar interests.
Right.
So that's one.
Yes, so one of the things that they found out from that study is that there is a community, there is a sense of community. That is why the game, and also another thing is that pickleball, or I think paddle, was also featured there. And if you would notice, suddenly the sport boomed. It's because when you play paddle or pickleball, you form a community. right? Versus if it's an individual sport. So community is very important. Connection is very important. So it enhances physical health. So think about this. In your company, what are the ways by which you can build connection with your team members? Wherein no one in your team would feel like, ang close nila, ako hindi. They're so close, but I'm not connected with them. So think about that. And in a little while, we're going to discover the 4 levels of connection. Okay, so 21% increase in productivity and 41% decrease in absenteeism. Do you have team members who always goes absent? Before. Okay. How does that affect the productivity of the team? Pag nag-absent yung team member, minsan may ibang team members na kailangan mag-carry ng burden, right? And it can be so annoying. You already have a lot on your plate, and now you need also to cover for the employee who went absent. So, if there is connection, I'm not sure if you've ever felt this, but if there is a very strong connection between you and your teammates, even if you're not feeling well, you find ways to feel better so you can go to work. But if you feel disengaged with your team and you have a slight headache, you say, should I file for a sick leave? Right? So I remember when I was still working for a bank, we had a very strong connection in our team. And sometimes when I wake up and I don't feel well, I ask myself, do I want to stay home by myself or do I want to go to the office? And I would say, I want to go to the office because I don't want to miss the fun today. Because there's always something that I look forward to. Either there's a specific game that our leader would ask us to play, or just the banter in the office. So even if the workload was heavy, because I look forward to having fun with my teammates, I would tell myself, okay, Sha, feel better because we're going to work tomorrow. So there. So connection is very important. Even if you have heavy workload, even if sometimes you have annoying clients, if you have team members that you look forward to seeing the next day, you will inspire yourself to go to work. Okay? So there. So drives productivity. Not all connections are high quality. There are connections that are low quality. Have you ever talked to someone and then after talking to that person, you feel small? You feel judged. You felt judged. You ever felt that? Because not all connections are high quality. So, in positive psychology, there's what we call high quality connections or HQC, and there's low quality connections. So this was from the study of Jane Dutton. Can we all read? So I developed what I call the 4 levels of human connection. But before we talk about that positive human connection, let's first talk about what is a low quality connection. Because there are occasions wherein you feel like I wish I shouldn't have talked to that person because instead of binding us together, I feel more disconnected with that person after the conversation. Can you take a look at your previous encounters? Have you ever encountered a low quality connection? Maybe you were the one who was on the receiving end of that low quality connection, or maybe you were the one who caused the other person to feel demotivated. Okay, so let's take a look at some examples. I can give you an example. So one time, someone asked me, Sha, I want to share my problem with you. So this person shared his problems with me, and I gave advice. And the person said, I did not want you to give advice. I just wanted you to validate me, validate my feelings. And I felt like, oh, I'm so sorry. So, I'm so sorry. So it was a low quality connection because I gave advice right away. And so what we did was, so when you tell me your problems, let me know what kind of support you need. Do you just want me to listen, or do you want me to give advice? So now that's what we do. So when this person tells me his problems, I would ask him, what kind of support do you need right now? And then he would tell me, okay, I need advice. Do you want honest advice, or do you want advice that's a little bit toned down? And then he would tell me what kind of advice he would need. Okay? So in your case, what were the examples of low quality connections that you've had before? So pwedeng like me, kayo nag-cause ng low quality connection, or maybe you were the one on the receiving end of that low quality connection.
I'm trying to think of something. Siguro parang yung mga condescending conversations with friends. Right?
Yes.
So I have friends that I've been with for like more like 20 years. So parang we see each other grow, we see each other develop into like a different personalities and all that, and all the achievements. Siguro I can specify certain situations where other people or other friend have achievements, right? Tapos the other friend would make it about himself or herself, right? Like if someone bought a new car, but the car was an econo car, and the other person have like a luxury car, parang it's kind of like belittling for the other person. But that was his achievement in life. Now he kind of like save money for that and all that, and just to feel like it's not something that's something that's should be an achievement for him after hearing the other person talk about the better car.
So your friend did not feel celebrated.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, that's a low quality connection. Yeah, you were so excited to talk. He was so excited to talk about his new car, but it was downplayed because the other person had a better car, luxury car. Okay, thank you.
Like technical words because I just want to talk to you.
Yes.
So I disconnect. I did not reply anymore.
Yes, that was an example of a low quality connection, because it could be that was not what you needed at that moment, right? You just wanted to talk to that person, but you felt like you were lectured on. So that's a low quality connection. Yep. So it's very important to have that awareness, like you're not off tune to what the other person is feeling or what the other person needs at that particular moment. And there is a way to do that, and one way is listening. So we'll talk more about it when we discuss the 4 levels of connection. So you did not feel supported at that point, and that's a low quality connection. So that's one of the levels of quality connection that we'll talk about, support. So you feel supported. Okay, thank you. Let's have one more example of low quality connection. Yes. Thank you, Angel. Not working? Yeah.
Hi. So it's my experience. I'm getting some house renovations done at the time, and you know how stressful it can be and exciting at the same time. So I have this best friend from childhood, and after a long week, after a long day of stressors from getting the house constructions, I decided to speak with her and tell her how my day went. I was talking to her all about the contractor and stuff, and it just so happened that she's also the one who referred the contractor. And maybe I may have offended her in a way, but I was really just talking about my day. And all of a sudden, there was this outburst. She was telling me that, hey, you know what? Can I be honest with you? You should spend within your means. If you wanted this done, then you should have hired this contractor, which costs millions. And then she's like, I don't want anything to do with your houseworks at all. And she hung up on me. So that was my no quality solution.
Oh. So did you feel a little judged?
I felt judged. And I felt like I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Yes. Yes, thank you for sharing, Angel. So that was an example of a low quality connection because, for example, maybe her best friend meant well, but maybe the timing was off. Or maybe maybe you mean well, but that was not the right words to say, or that was not how to say it. So there is a way to share things. For example, you really mean well, but when you say these particular things, the other person would feel offended. So in our next session, session 3, we'll talk about positive communication. Wherein, for example, a team member made a mistake and you want to correct that team member. What is your way of correcting that team member? You have good intentions, like, right? You want to correct that team member, but in a way that won't demotivate that team member. So there is an art to how you say it and what to say as well. So in the case of your friend, if she could have chosen better words, it would have made you feel encouraged, supported, seen as well. So it's an art. Okay? So now let's continue with this human connection. Low quality connection is what I call suppressed connection. Wherein, for example, in your case, you did not want to talk to your friend anymore. In your case, I also did not want to talk to her maybe for a couple of days because you feel suppressed, because you didn't feel like you were understood. You didn't feel like you felt safe to share. So you felt suppressed. And a lot of times, people disconnect if they feel suppressed. And when you feel suppressed, that will cause you a lot of stress. Because imagine, even if you have misunderstandings with friends, if you can openly share your hurts with the other person, it's okay because you can openly discuss, right? So remember my example wherein I felt unseen by this friend of mine, and I openly told my friend, you know, when you did this, I felt unseen. But what if I did not have the courage and we did not have that relationship, that safe space wherein I can share with her my feelings? Now, I would feel suppressed. Hindi na lang kita kakausapin. Hindi na lang ako mag-a-advise. Right? And there is now an invisible wall that was built between you and your friend. So what if there is a way to tell your friends, hey, I got hurt when you said this. Can we talk about it? But you can only do that if you're on the same page. Because if you are not on the same page, ikaw lagi ang mali. For example, so this is an extreme example. If you talk to a narcissist, you will always feel that you're the one who's on the wrong. Because the narcissist would always think that I'm right, you're wrong. So, with the narcissist, we won't talk about that because I haven't done any research about that. But just, this is very important. You have to be on the same page to be able to have that conversation. If you're not on the same page yet, you mirror the other person, meet the other person where he or she is. So meaning, if you're so used to deep conversations, you don't go deep with that person right away. You go shallow, and then slowly go deeper and deeper and deeper with the conversation. Okay? So now let's talk about the 4 levels of human connection. And this is very exciting. Later on, we'll also have an activity to display how to do this. So, the 4 levels of human connection, the first level is the surface level. So, in the workplace, this can look like, hi, hello, kumusta ka? Anong kinain mo? What did you eat today? That's very surface level. But at least you have something to talk about. So, basic transactional interactions focused on tasks or formalities. Oh, are you done with your report? Oh, yeah, me too. Just like that. Or what's your favorite color? So it's very surface level, civil. Okay? Civil. The next level of connection is supportive. So in your case, like, for example, you just wanted to feel heard, you just wanted to feel supported. Or in your case as well, Angel, when you talked about what happened during your day, you just wanted to feel supported. Talaga, oh, I'm sorry that happened. Or, oh, talaga, oh, I'm happy for you. Something like that. You feel supported. So in the case of your friend who bought a car, the friend did not feel supported because he did not feel celebrated. He wanted to talk about the new car that he bought, but it was downplayed because there was a luxury car, a better car from the perspective of the group or maybe that friend. So supportive is the second level of human connection. There is a higher level. Okay, so there are four levels. The higher level, so this is supportive interaction. You provide help, guidance. For example, supportive also means, oh, what help do you need with your work? How can I help you? That is supportive. Or maybe you tell your team member, team, I need your help on this. So that is supportive as well. Or you help your team. Team, what kind of support do you need? Okay. The next level is safe. Now, this is where we go a little deeper. So, safe, this is also what psychologists call psychological safety. You feel safe to share about your uncomfortable emotions. Like, for example, in the case of your friend who had the car, he would feel safe. Guys, this is important to me, but I felt like my achievement was downplayed. So, if there is a safe environment, he could openly say that. Or when you have conversations with your friends and that person did something that hurt you, you can say, when you said this, I got hurt because. So that is a safe environment. It's not suppressed. You feel safe to be vulnerable. You feel safe to open your weaknesses because you may be judged, right? There is a potential that you may be judged. And people may say, ang sensitive mo naman. You're so sensitive. You're so onion-skinned. So, safe is when you feel open to share your vulnerabilities. For example, you may say something like, oh, I'm really sad right now because my dog suffered this and this. Right? Because there is also an opportunity to be judged. What if I'm not a dog person and you said about your dog, I would say like, aso lang yan. Right? But you may get hurt because for you, a dog is like a family member. So safe is when you feel like you can share your vulnerabilities, you can share your weaknesses without fear of being judged. Yes? Do you have those kinds of relationship in the workplace and also with your family or friends? Yes. Or when your friend asks you, how are you? And you can just openly say, I'm not okay. You don't have to pretend, or you don't have to make it appear like you're strong all the time. You can say, I'm not okay. I'm going through something. So if you have friends like that, if you have friendships like that, you are very wealthy. Okay, may I see a raise of hands? Who among you have ever been heartbroken? Heartbroken. Okay. Naka-move on naman na. Alright? Or who among you here are still heartbroken? So let me share with you an example of being in a safe friendship. Some time ago, when I was heartbroken, my friend texted me and said, Sha, how are you? And I said, I'm crying right now because I feel so heartbroken. And then my friend said, would you like me to call you up? Can I call you up? And then I said, yes, you may call me up, but I won't be able to say anything because I'm just literally crying. Yung parang hagulgol na pangit na hagulgol. And then my friend said, that's okay, I can still call you up. So my friend called me up. And this friend of mine is in her 60s, but we just call each other by our first name. So super cool nitong friend ko. She's the type wherein I would tell her, Jet, tara, TikTok tayo. And then, TikTok tayo. So magti-TikTok kami. 60s na siya. So Jet asked me, Sha, how are you? And I said, I'm not okay. I'm just crying. Can I call you up? Sure, you may call me up, but I will just cry. It's okay, then cry. So Jet called me up, and I just cried and cried and cried. And imagine, so our relationship was as if we're of the same age, right? But at that moment, she wore a mother hat. And she said, Nene, sige, iyak ka lang, nene. Andito lang ako, So I was just crying and she was just like that. Sige, iyak ka lang, kaya mo yan. She was not giving me advice. She was just telling me, I'm just here. You know how long that conversation was? I think 1 hour 30 minutes of just crying. I just cried and cried and cried, and I did not feel judged. I did not fear that Jet might judge me as being such a weakling, and I was in such a mess at that time. And we talked I cried for 1 hour 30 minutes on the phone, and Jet just listened. So what do you think that particular situation did to our friendship? Strengthened. Yes. So in my case, I felt like, Jet supports me. I feel safe with Jet. But on the part of Jet, how did she feel? Would I cry on social media? Would I go live and cry on social media? Some people do that. Would I do that? No, why not? Because that was such a precious private moment, which I will only share with people that are closest to me. So Jet actually felt like she felt so privileged that at that particular moment, she was the one I was talking to. So don't deprive your friends of that feeling. When you're not okay, it's okay to tell your friends, I'm not okay, I'm in such a mess right now. If your friends judged you for that, then you know, are you really my friend? Right? So, safety, psychological safety is like that. Do you feel safe to be vulnerable? Do you feel safe to be weak? Do you feel safe to be in a mess and your friend would see you in that mess? In the workplace, can you all read what this means? Yes. If your team members always say yes to you, it doesn't mean that you're so brilliant. Okay? Sometimes it means that they're scared of sharing their real thoughts with you. But if your team member openly corrects you in a respectful way, take that as a compliment. It means you are creating a safe space for your team members to speak up. Nag-agree, right?
At work and at home.
Yes, at work and at home. So I want to hear from you. What were the instances wherein someone openly corrected you and you actually took that positively? Because it means that you created a safe space for people to be themselves and for people to speak their minds. So I want to hear from you so we can have examples. All right?
This is, syempre, this is very common scenario sa bahay. I'm a mother of 3 boys. So, at ako talaga, personally, I encourage them to correct me kapag nagkakamali ako. So, para sa akin kasi, syempre, di ba, parang very typical of a mom, yung ikaw na yung tama, ganyan. So, gusto ko maging comfortable sila sa akin.
Yes.
So, every time magkakamali ako, be it yung mga grammar, or for example, may makakalimutin kasi ako eh. So, Mommy, you already told me about that, ganyan. You reminded me of that a million times na, parang ganyan. So, I encourage that para kumbaga gusto ko maging comfortable sila sa akin para at the same time, halimbawa habang lumalaki sila, masabi nila kung ano yung talagang nasa loob nila. So that's how I take care of my children's mental health. Thank you.
Yes, so that is a very good example because if your boys don't feel safe to share things with you, they feel suppressed, right? And maybe that will cause resentment. That will build resentments. Do you have resentments, guys? Lahat tayo meron. Nagde-depend lang yan sa gravity. Gaano kalaki yung resentment natin? Are there people in your life that you haven't talked to for many years? Maybe family members or or friends that you still want to be friends with. Because there are also friendships wherein it's okay to let go of those friendships. Not because you don't like the person and that person doesn't like you, but it's because you outgrew each other. And that is okay. If you have to let go of some friendships, as long as you do it in good faith, like naturally, the friendship just died, that's okay. You don't need to beat yourself up na, oh, I should still be friends with my grade 1 classmate or my... Because maybe now you're just in different worlds. So it's okay. And this is not very much talked about, but there is what we call friendship breakups. And it could be as painful as romantic breakups. And it's okay. Okay? Okay, so here's what I want you to do. Face your partner, so maybe your seatmate, and share with your seatmate an example where you felt safe in a relationship or at work. Safe to speak your mind. Okay, so share with your seatmate. I think you're having a lot of fun sharing your experiences, right? So I observed your facial expressions while you were sharing, and you were smiling. So why? It's because you are sharing some precious moments with each other, and that those conversations build connections. You feel safe to share those moments. Okay? So let's resume this discussion on psychological safety. Have you ever felt unsafe to speak up? Yes. You also have felt that. So I shared in the last session that I used to be very shy, right? So I used to be very shy, and I remember there was this internal vacancy in the company that I worked with before, HSBC, and I really liked the boss. I really liked the line of work. And during the interview, the boss asked me a simple question, as simple as introduce yourself. And I just stuttered. I couldn't even express my thoughts well. And I felt so humiliated, like, no, she did not humiliate me. She did not humiliate me, but I was so ashamed of myself at that particular time. And I realized I wasn't just afraid to speak in front of many people, but I was also scared to speak in front of just one person. And when I went home to our apartment, which I used to share with 5 other female friends, so this was when I was in my early 20s, maybe 22 or 23, I asked one of my friends, how can I improve my speaking skills? And she said, join Toastmasters. I asked her, what is that? And then she said, Google it. So my friend was very helpful. I Googled Toastmasters, and I learned it's a public speaking organization. So I joined one of the clubs. So let's pause that story for a while. Let's move back to when I was in college in UP Diliman. So I was very scared of speaking, and we had this subject called communications too. Basically, it's about paper, write something. And my thesis, my professor declined my thesis statement 4 times. It means that if you don't have a thesis statement yet, you won't be able to proceed writing that final paper. And so I talked to my professor and asked her, ma'am, can you share with me why you declined the thesis statement? What can I do so it can be approved? And my professor said, ask me in class. Oh. And I was scared of public speaking. So I mustered enough courage to raise my hand because the deadline was approaching, fast approaching. So I mustered enough courage to raise my hand in class and ask my professor that question. And you know what? My professor looked at me with disbelief. And with a frown on her face, she said, you know what? Your question sucks. Sana ganun yung reaction ko, tumawa ako. But, you know, I felt so humiliated. Here I am, so scared to speak, and I felt silenced. So from that moment, I dared not to speak again. And even when I was already working in a bank, I only talked to my office mate if I really, really needed to talk to that office mate because I was scared to be embarrassed again. Now, fast forward to that Toastmasters, right? So I joined the Toastmasters organization. So it's a public speaking organization, and I was about to deliver my first prepared speech. It was a 7-minute speech. So I wrote it down, I memorized it, and now I'm delivering it in front of 20 people. And I got so scared and nervous. I looked at the people and I couldn't remember a single word from my speech. I had mental block. I could feel that my knees were shaking, my palms were sweaty. I didn't have sweaty palms. And I could feel that a tear was about to escape my eye. There was a lectern, and I hid behind the lectern because I did not want people to see me, a grown-up, cry. And while I was hiding behind the lectern, I realized, wait a minute, Sha, are you disrespecting your audience by turning away from them? So I stood up again, and I still couldn't remember my speech. And at this point, my tears betrayed me. Hindi lang isa, dalawa na. I was crying. And I was panicking already. Imagine, these were not yet my friends, right? I was new in the club. So there were 20 of them. I looked at the audience, and I could see that there were 3 of them who were also crying with me. And then people told me, it's okay, Sha, take your time. So I was really taking my time to recall, okay, what was the first sentence? What was the title of my speech? Mental block, complete mental block. I couldn't remember anything. But I took my time to cry. And when there were no more tears left, I went back to my seat, and that was my first speech. No words, just tears. Did I feel safe in that environment? Yes, because they told me, it's okay, Sha, take your time. So I took my time to cry, right? And how else did I feel supported? 3 people. Yes, 3 people mirrored me. They also cried. And there were no words. They just cried with me. Maybe they felt my emotions. They empathized with me, and they cried as well. And I felt like, hindi lang ako nag-isang umiyak dito. 4 na kami. Sila yung next. Sila pala yung susunod, no? So I felt so safe. So imagine, that could have been one of my most embarrassing moments, right? But because I felt safe, what did I do next time? I said, okay, I'll speak again. Okay, I'll speak again. I kept showing up. Not because I was good at it. I was below 0, negative. Not because I was good at it, but because I felt safe to make mistakes. So this is one of the key roles we have as leaders, to make our team members feel safe to be vulnerable, feel safe to make mistakes. But the caveat is, the standard is excellence. But if they make mistakes, there is no blaming. Okay? Make it safe for them to innovate. So there are a lot of companies right now who are out of business, but they were once the top in their game. Can you name some companies na super top of the game sila dati, but now they're extinct? Nokia, right? Nokia. What else? Kodak. Yes. What else?
ISP Bonanza.
Ano yun? ISP Bonanza. Okay. So, what do you think could be the reasons why they went as extinct? What did they fail to do? Innovate. They failed to innovate. And how can people innovate? So of course, we don't know what really happened behind the scenes, but this could be an example. You don't just look at the productivity of your team. You don't just look at the productivity of your company, but you also look at the environment where you operate. If team members don't feel safe to make mistakes and explore, you don't innovate. Right? Because you want to just play within the safe space of playing. Okay, psychological safety is not the same as playing it safe. Playing it safe means that you don't feel safe enough to be who you really are, to explore, to innovate. You don't feel vulnerable enough. That's why you're playing it safe. So this is different from psychological safety. So fast forward, I kept on attending that meeting, the Toastmasters meeting. And by the way, after you deliver your speech, you get evaluated. So can you imagine if you were my evaluator for my first speech, how would you evaluate me in such a way that I would still feel encouraged, right? So I forgot the exact words that the evaluator said, but I think she said something like, "Congratulations, you were so brave to stand on stage, and you were so brave to say yes, and you did your best to deliver your speech." Things like that. So I felt so encouraged. But imagine if you're the type of evaluator who's just focused on logic and facts. You just said, "You didn't memorize your speech. Did you prepare? Did you even prepare? Did you even condition yourself to be on stage?" If the evaluator did that, maybe I wouldn't be here right now. Maybe I stopped speaking again. I silenced myself again. But because the environment was safe, I felt safe to speak up. And fast forward, so I kept on attending meetings, and then I grew in the organization. During that time also, I got invited to speak for events after I wrote my books, and I would practice in Toastmasters. That was my safe space. So I did not tell anyone. So people would ask me, "Sha, where's your Toastmasters club?" I would recommend other clubs, but I did not dare recommend my own club because that was my safe space. It was a secret what my club was. So eventually, I rose in Toastmasters, and I became an officer. And then one of my roles, 3 years before I left the Toastmasters organization, was as a district trainer in Luzon, wherein I trained the club officers all over Luzon. And then I eventually got the Distinguished Toastmaster Award, which is the highest award given by Toastmasters International to its members worldwide, because there are steps. And then for the last 3 years, all I did was to give back to the organization because I stayed in the organization for 11 years. 8 years was for me to grow. And then 3 years was for me to give back, give back, give back. So that is the effect of psychological safety. So now I'm so confident to speak in front of other people, not just in the Philippines, but in other countries, because I felt safe in that meeting where I cried. Think with me, what is that something that you've been wanting to do, but you are scared to be judged? You are scared to make mistakes. How can you create psychological safety in yourself so you can give yourself permission to fail, permission to make mistakes? Because psychological safety starts with you. Okay, may mga gusto bang mag-share? Pickleball. Who among you plays pickleball? Badminton? Badminton, okay. So when you play badminton, there are levels, right? A, B, C, D. So if you are, for example, level C, and you see that people are playing at level A, how do you feel? How would you feel? Intimidated. Kawawa. And you feel like may inis sa'yo yung player A, yung nasa A level, because you may not be able to get the ball across, right? So it is very important to give yourself permission to fail. A couple of days ago, I went to our pickleball area to play, and my neighbors were already playing, and I could see that, oh, ang gagaling nila. Should I play today or should I not? Maybe I'll just hire a trainer again to train me first so that I can keep up with my neighbors. So I was lost in my own thoughts. Maybe I shouldn't play. I was doubting myself. And then our pickleball leader said, "Sha, okay, the game ended. Let's go play. Let's team up." And I said, "Sure." So I was just, I was playing pickleball, and I was telling myself, okay, so let the ball bounce first, and then, okay, go to the left, go to the right. So I was very conscious, and I just tell myself, okay, Sha, just let the ball go to the other side. Let your partner do the placing, right? Just safely let the ball land on the other side. So that's what I did. And we won 2 out of 2 games. Mostly because of my partner. But what I'm saying is that I gave myself a chance to make mistakes because you will only grow if you actually give yourself permission to fail. So, what if other people will judge you? Then you have to tell yourself, so what will I do in that situation? Should I also judge myself? Should I also suppress myself? That is why psychological safety starts with you. So if there is something that you want to do but you're not so good at yet, give yourself permission to fail. Just like how BTS gives us permission to dance. Right? So permission to fail. So seen 4 levels of connection. The highest level of connection is seen. It is when you feel like, oh, this person really knows me. Knows my strength, sees my potential, knows my weaknesses, and accepts me anyway. A lot of times, especially in relationships, we say things like, I wish this person would accept me despite my weaknesses. But the question is, do you accept yourself despite your weaknesses? So the first person who needs to see you first should be yourself. So seen. So, can we all read?
The highest level of connection where individuals feel genuinely proud and supported and unlocking their potential.
This is where you unlock your potential. So let me share with you the story the story about 2 coaches, and let me know later who are you among these 2 coaches, Jerome the motivator or Denver the downer. And in a little while, after this, we'll have a little activity. Zumba. Okay. So, Jerome the motivator and Denver the downer. Who among you here loves to sing? Sing. Okay, mahilig kumanta? Ayan, may mga singers tayo. So, I love to sing as well, ever since I was a child. So, I love to sing. And whenever I sing, I would feel so alive. But whenever I sing, my friends, family, mentors would tell me, Sha, can you please do us a favor? Can you please not sing? Because apparently, if there were 4 singing voices, bass, tenor, alto, and soprano, mine was sintonado. I couldn't carry a tune. I remember as a child when I had to sing a song and then the pitch is very high, I would climb because I thought that was the way to reach the high notes. So I didn't know that my voice was monotonous. So I gave up my dream to become a singer. And then one day, I hired a coach, Jerome, as my speaking coach. So we were in the middle of a coffee shop, a busy coffee shop. And that was our first time to meet. Jerome said, Sha, can you sing? Now, that was the first time someone ever asked me to sing. And I said, yes. So, opportunity. So I stood up and sang. And then I sat down. And Jerome said, Sha, you have a beautiful voice. You are born to sing. And I almost fell off my chair. What voice did he listen to? Why was everyone telling me to stop singing? And then I asked Jerome, what's my vocal range? And then and then he said, Sha, mezzo-soprano. You can sing any of the songs of Lea Salonga, any Disney song in its original key. And so because I liked what I was listening, what I was hearing, I decided to tune out from all the other voices. So even if my friends would tell me, Sha, wag kang kumanta, ano ba? I tuned out from all of that and I decided to listen only to Jerome. And I remember I had my debut as a singer when I sang at the Global Authors Summit in front of 400 people. Later on, I'll show you that video. We will all sing. Don't worry. Okay, I want to give you a live sample, but I'm more of a recording artist. So, 400 people. That was the event that I and my team organized. It means it was our event. so I can sing if I want to, right? The day before the event, I still had self-doubts. Should I sing or not? So I called up Jerome again and I asked, Jerome, do you really think I can sing in front of 400 people? Jerome said, yes, Sha, I'm positive you can sing. And so the next day I sang I Can by Donna Cruz. And I have a live pianist with me. Because although now I can carry a tune, I don't know when to enter. So if there's a -1 and I entered at the wrong time, then everything is messed up. So my pianist said, don't worry, I'll adjust, just sing. So that is why I can only sing if there is a live pianist. Okay, so I sang in front of 400 people. And before that, the day before, Jerome said, Sha, you can sing. And mark my word, after you sing tomorrow, people will invite you for singing invitations. So, so I sang I Can. And you know, while I was singing, people were crying. I don't know why. I didn't know why they were crying. So after the event, I talked to one of my team members, Clarice, because she was one of those people who cried. And I asked her, Clarice, why were you crying? Why were people crying while I was singing? And Clarice said, Sha, because I was so touched by the song. I felt every word. And guess what? I got 3 singing invitations. So people actually emailed me and messaged me, Sha, we have our annual party on. Can we invite you to sing at our event? Of course, I said no because I was busy. But think with me, Jerome unlocked the singer in me. Everyone saw me as someone who was sintonado, who couldn't carry a tune. And my friends and family, out of love for me, told me to stop singing. It only took one person to unlock the world-class singer in me. So that's Jerome. So, in 2021, pandemic, right? So I went to Boracay to social distance. And while I was in Boracay, there were not a lot of people, and an idea came to mind. I said, what if I create music videos? And then I asked Jerome, do you think I should do that? Go for it, Sha. And so 2 days later, I was out in Boracay with a team of videographers. There were about 5 of them, complete with their big cameras and drone. And fast forward to today, with all humility, I'm now a recording artist. Actually, correction, international recording artist. Yes, you may clap if you want to. So, I'm saying all this because I want you to see the power of seeing the potential in people. So I'm actually highlighting Jerome here. He unlocked the singer in me. So that's Jerome. Now let's go to Denver, the downer. I've done maybe 10 or 15 music videos at this point, and I wanted to hone my singing skills further. Jerome was busy, and so I hired another coach, Denver, the downer. So Denver, whenever we would meet on Zoom, because this was during the pandemic, and I would say, hi, coach, and then he'd say, sing. Okay, sing. And then he would tell me everything that I was doing wrong. Kulang sa lakas, kulang sa landi, kulang sa tamis, kulang sa... Puro kulang. The only positive thing he said was that my vocal range, that was the only positive thing. So every time I go to that coaching session with Denver, I felt smaller and smaller and smaller until such a point wherein in the midst of the meeting, I couldn't take it anymore. I felt like, ang kapal ng mukha mo siya, kumakanta ka, wala kang K. Ganun na yung pakiramdam ko. Like, so I said, Denver, I'm sorry, something came up. I couldn't continue. What came up was that I lost my voice. So think with me. Are you Jerome the motivator? Or are you Denver the downer? Are you the type of leader who sees the potential in your team and unlocks that potential? Or are you the type of leader who is always looking for what's wrong, what did he do wrong, what should be corrected, to the point that you are actually silencing your team member. So which one are you? Can you tell your seatmate which one are you? Jerome the motivator or Denver the downer? Okay, so now we'll do something. We'll do an activity. Who among you loves to dance?
Permission.
So aside from Mara, sino pa yung sumasayaw? Ako sumasayaw ako.
Papalapakan na si Mara.
Okay. So don't worry, lahat tayo sasayaw. May I invite everyone to please stand up. Kung hindi nyo pa nailabas yung child in you a while ago, kung kulang pa, meron pa tayong gagawin mamaya, okay? So, I want you to feel comfortable to really unleash your inner child. Because when you unleash your inner child, that's when you feel seen also. That's when you unlock possibilities in your life. Okay? So we talked about the 4 levels of human connection. Surface level, supportive, safe, and seen. Now, we will practice how to do this. Okay? What are the conversations that we can have so that we can go from this level to this level? Okay? So I want you to count off 1 to 5.
4.
2, 3, 4.
Kami. 4, 5, 1, 2,
3,
4.
5, 4, 2,
3, 4, 5, 1.
4.
So here's the caveat. This is a private space, but this is still public, right? So choose something that you're comfortable sharing. Wag yung super secret mo pala and then, dinivulge mo na. Because when you divulge something that is very precious to you, that's super secret, now, na-burden na yung nakinig, anong gagawin ko dito? What will I do with this information, right? So just share something that you're comfortable sharing. So current struggle that you're facing, maybe in the workplace, maybe in your personal life, that you are comfortable sharing, okay? So, what we're going to do is to show our support. Meaning, don't judge. So if your inner chatter is telling, bakit ba kasi yan ginawa niya? Tell yourself, if you were that person, tell yourself, how can I show support to this person? It could be as simple as, I will wish this person well. I will silently pray for this person, for whatever this person is struggling with. I am sending love to this person. Okay? So you can do this in your mind, or if you feel like doing this, you can also do that if the person is also comfortable with your path. Okay? So there. If you're comfortable, you may also share, when you share what you're struggling with, you just share the kind of support I need right now is, so right now, maybe not advice, because we won't finish if we do that. Maybe just say, just for you to listen. Something like that. Okay? So, these safe level conversations start now. Okay, so let's hear from you guys. What was your experience? Like, did you feel more connected with this person? And how can you apply it in the workplace and in your personal life? So, Kim will move around. Yeah, pakitaas lang yung kamay and then Kim will give the mic. Maybe we'll hear from each group. Okay, so choose your representative from each group. Okay, let's go with this group first. Alright, so pakinggan natin siya lahat. Please introduce yourself to everyone.
Hi everyone, I'm Don from Avanad Recruitment, AUSNC.
Yeah.
So, ayun, actually, at first, we're just adjusting kung saan kami may similarities na group. But as times goes by, habang kumahaba yung conversations namin, parang nakikita na namin or we actually sees our connections from time to time. So, same problems, same scenarios, and how are you feeling right now? So, we're actually connecting with each other. So, we've encountered as well difficult clients at the same time na we're both agreeing na parang, uy, same, hindi problema ko. Then with the client as well na, hula ko yung client ko ganito, yan yung client ko. So we're really connecting and parang nakita namin na may mutual understanding kami sa group. So which is nice.
You're now close, di ba? Nag-akbayan na kayo kanina. You're close. Okay, thank you to this group. Now, let's go to this group. May group chat na kayo.
So, I'm Homer from
Nomer.
Field HR. So, siguro yung sa team namin is more on like yung practice of empathy. So, yung putting yourself on their parang shoes or parang thinking yung parang yun nga, putting yourself on their shoes na yung nilalagay mo sarili mo, paano ba yung ito yung experience ko na somehow same nung sa kanila, and then thinking kung magbibigay ka ba ng advice or syempre iba-iba yung understanding, and then bago tayo mag-react, not just barely na once na sabi sila ng something, you think deep muna bago ka magre-react mo sa
All right, thank you, Nomer. Okay, so let's go to this group.
Hi everyone, my name is Poch.
Poch.
Senior Recruitment.
Guys, can we listen to Poch?
Okay. So I think what I liked about the conversations that we had with my team is that we really started from the surface level, like just telling what was our favorite food. And from that alone, we were able to identify some similarities. And then eventually, throughout the process, it went deeper to the point that none of us on the safe level step really shared something about work. Everyone shared something personal. And I appreciated that because it made us at least, even though we're in the same team, under Project Rise, we technically did not know each other. But because of that sharing, we kind of have the perspective of what life this specific person is living. And it made me appreciate, at least for me, that made me appreciate and realize that although we have differences, we have the same struggles, and we have to acknowledge and live with it. So yeah, that's my...
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. Now let's go to the last two groups. So this is really humanizing the workplace. What we're doing right now.
Safe level type of connection wherein everyone did not share about work. They shared something about their personal lives. So although we didn't know each other that well, we kept an open mind and we kept ang hirap kasi for me because my top strength is judgment. So yeah, I was judging at behind the back of my mind. Pero well, I just kept an open mind and I acknowledged that even though we have the same goal in terms of work, which is results oriented naman, we have different struggles or different challenges in life that we have to face, and with the support of the people around you, that's how you get over
that we have right now. What is the level of connection that I have with my family, with my friends, with my workmates? Can I go deeper? Okay, I think we're in the surface level right now. To go a little deeper, safe conversations with your parents, with your siblings, with your workmates. Have you ever talked about what are you struggling with right now? What kind of support do you need? Have you ever talked about that? So maybe the reason why we try to be strong all the time is because we don't have those types of conversations, right? In a relationship, when you ask your romantic partner or your husband or wife, what kind of support do you need? What struggles are you having this week? How can I support you? Now you're giving permission, you're giving that person permission to just be herself, to remove the masks. And that's how you grow closer to each other. And when you do that with your friends, imagine the kind of connections you will have. But don't just make the mistake of, "Uy, alam niyo ba, sinabi, you know what this person said?" Don't make that mistake because that person trusted you with the information. Now let's go even deeper. This is the scene conversation, and this is where we unlock our potential. Scene zone. Okay. So in your group yourselves, create subgroups of 3 people per group. Okay, 3 people within your group. If you need more space, use the stage. Okay? So, 3 people within your group. So, how was your experience doing those conversations? Surface level, supportive, safe, and then seen. So, I want to hear from you. Can you just thank your group mates first? Okay. Thank your group mates. Congratulations. And him, Mike. So who wants to share? How was the experience? What did you notice about yourself? What did you notice about other people? And how can you bring this in your workplace? How can you bring this in your personal relationships? Did someone say a strength that you didn't see before? Yes? Okay, so I want to hear from you.
Sorry, what was the question?
Did someone say a strength that you didn't see before?
Yes. Because I never really considered myself as someone who speaks well. And then the 3 of them were like, yeah, I think that's your superpower. So I was surprised. And I was like, oh, guys, thank you.
Aww. Thank you. So now they helped you see the side of you that you didn't see before. They made you feel seen. Thank you. Who else would like to share? Especially on the part wherein strength, right? Strengths finder. Did you receive a compliment that you didn't expect? And how did it make you feel? Or did you expect everything that they told you? Positive, all right. Anyone else who did not expect, oh, I didn't see this side of me. I didn't see that this is actually my strength. Anyone else had that experience? So, it means you were aware of your strengths and they affirmed your strengths. How about in the safe conversations, did you feel more connected with the other person? Why was that? Why? Why did you feel more connected with the other person when this person shared his or her struggles with you? You saw the similarities, same experience. So you saw that actually everyone has struggles. You are not alone. Even the person that you're annoyed with, that person also has struggles. So when you think of it that way, you would see that we're all humans trying to live, trying to make the best out of the situation that we're in right now. Okay? And here's where the magic happens. When there is a deep level of connection, you feel like, oh, I know this person already, and I can make this person feel seen and understood. And even with your clients, if you constantly talk to your clients, sometimes they haven't spoken yet, but you already know, okay, most likely this is the problem that they want to ask me. Have you ever had that experience before? Right? So, I used to work in the call center department of HSBC. That was my first job. And it came to a point wherein when the card holder would call and give me the card number, based from the tone of the voice, I already know what the concern is. Sometimes, by just giving me the card number, I already know what he or she is going to ask. That was the level of connection that I had with my work and with my clients. Now, I want to show you some magic. May I ask for a volunteer? Volunteer, don't worry. Madali lang yung gagawin mo. Okay, who do you want to volunteer? Okay, maybe someone from the back. Who do you want to volunteer? Okay, so Nico. Palakpakan natin si Nico. Nico? Nico, halika dito. Kim, please hold the mic for me. Okay. So Nico, huwag kang mag-alala. I can read your mind. So dito ka. So Nico, we've been together for 2 days. I know you a little better now. I can read your mind. Okay. So Nico, give me a number from 1 to 10. Don't say the number. Just think just in your mind. Okay? And then let me know if you have the number already and I'll write it down. G, okay. You have the number?
Yeah.
If you know this, tahimik muna ha. Okay. So just so you know that I locked in the number, please hold this. So out of curiosity, what was the number? Tell the entire group.
3.
3. Okay. Now think of a city.
Okay.
Meron na?
Wait, can I change?
The city? Okay.
Okay.
Change
G.
the city. G?
Yes.
Lock in?
Yes.
City, okay. Okay, so
Sim City pala.
let's lock in the city.
Star City.
And I'll give it to you. All right, Nico? Okay, so please don't look yet. So tell the group what the city was.
Taipei.
Now think of a color.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, locked in.
Locked in. G?
G.
G? No changing of answers?
No changing.
Let me read your mind. Okay. Locked in.
Guys, kinakabahan ako.
Okay, tell the group what that was.
Orange.
Orange. Okay.
Mas mali.
Now, think of a direction. Up or down. So, dalawa yung choices. Up or down.
Locked in.
Locked in?
Yeah.
Okay. No changing of answers,
No
ha?
change. 2 lang naman kasi yun.
Okay, so I'm done writing everything. So, clear na yung hands ko. Thank you, Kim. Give it back to me. So, I've read your mind, right? Okay. Let's see if I was able to guess everything. What was your direction, Nico?
Up.
Can you read?
Uy, kinalib yun.
Tingnan mo na. Oh, okay. Look. Yeah, you have a point. Look at where the post-it.
Yeah.
Look at where the sticky note. Oh! Parang boy abunda. Okay. What was your city?
Taipei.
Can you read?
Ay? Okay.
Okay. Next. What was your number?
3. So, ano yun?
Padampot, ma'am. What was your color? Was it red?
Orange. Congratulations!
Sa C? May I borrow the mic, Kim?
Okay na po.
Okay na. Can we give a hand to Nico? Ah! So if you know the person, it's like magic, right? And there is a formula. There is a formula to get to know someone in a very deep way, to the point that you can almost read the mind of that person, and that's where magic happens. The reason why we do business with someone is because we like that person, we trust that person, because somehow there is this connection, there is the connection, right? It's almost like when you talk to someone, you feel so understood. You feel like, oh, you can read my mind. How did you know that? How did you know that my favorite color is this and that? Because you were paying attention. So how do we make others feel seen? Gusto niyo ba ituro ko yung magic? Sige. So how do you make other people feel seen? So don't worry, I'll teach the magic. So how do you make people feel seen? Okay? There is a formula to making other people feel seen. In the same way that I'll teach you the formula I used a while ago for with Nico, so you can use with your team as well. Parang icebreaker nyo. Okay? So, the formula is this: listen. So you did that a while ago during our conversations. You really listened. Even if you didn't give advice to the struggle, you listened, and that was good enough. Because now that you listen, you have an idea what this person is going through. And if you have the solution, maybe months down the road, and then you offer that solution to the person and said, "Oh, how did you know that I'm struggling with this?" It's because you listen. Okay, so first is to listen. The second is to see the strength. That is why, when we had those conversations, we talked about seeing the strength in people. Next is to believe in the potential. So when you see the strength, you don't, in your mind, you don't say things like, di naman, that's so easy, or, oh, other people can do that. But you actually believe in the strength of that person. And the last one is to invest time to unlock the talent in that person. Going back to example on Jerome, the motivator, do you think he followed this formula? Yes, so he listened to me sing, right? And he was able to hear something that other people did not hear. I forgot to tell you that Jerome was actually a singing coach. And he has coached over 100 of some of the most popular Filipino singers today. So the reason why he saw the singer in me was because he was a singer. He is a singer, and he was a singing coach. So you can see the potential in other people if you can also see that potential in yourself, or you have the ability to see the good in people. Okay? And the last one, okay, so Jerome saw listened to me, he saw my potential. Mezzo-soprano. Even if I was still, for sure I sang sintonado during that time, but he saw the potential, and he believed in that potential. Next was, he invested time, because he coached me. Okay, so I failed to say that, but he coached me to sing. And because of that, he unlocked the singer in me. Now, when I was trying to see the formula for sin, I thought about, what did Jerome do? And what did other people do with me that they were able to unlock this certain potential in me? What did my previous boss do to our team that she was able to unlock the potential of the team? So I was able to come up with that formula. And now in my capacity as a speaker also, and as a coach to other people, I also, unknowingly, I also followed that formula when I taught people how to write books. I was not a writer. I've written 15 books already because I created a formula for writing a book. There is a formula for everything. And then because of that, I taught people how to write books, and then I told them, I can teach you how to write a book in 90 days, even if you're not a writer, and even if you're busy in your job or business. The only skill you have is the skill to write a sentence, and you have the willingness to write a book. If you have that, I can unlock the potential in you. So listen, see the strength, believe in their potential, and then invest time to unlock. So because of that, so these are the steps. Because of that, we have 200 plus authors already who were able to write their books. So there is a formula to make other people feel seen, that it almost feels like magic. What did you do? How do you know me this well? Right? It's because you listened, you saw the strength, you believed in the potential, and then you invested time. LSBI, that is the formula for making other people feel seen. And now, before our break, can I teach you the magic? So you can do this with your team. So atin-atin lang to, ha? So here's the magic. So I asked Nico, what was the first question I asked him? Number. And then I told him to lock in his answer. And then I wrote the number right. What I actually wrote down was the direction up. And then I gave that to Nico. And then, what was the second question I asked Nico? So after that, I asked Nico, so Nico, tell everyone what was the number. So I memorized, okay, number 3. And now I asked the next question, what was your favorite color? And then he said his favorite color, right? So what I did was I wrote 3. And then, there. The direction, yun talaga. Make or break. But the direction, there is still a way to make it right, because if he said down, I could just flip the paper down, right? If I gave, when I was practicing with Kim, I also gave right or left, but sometimes I get confused. Where is my left and where is my right? So there. So that is the magic. You can do that with your team. So see, everything has a formula. There is a formula to make your team members feel supported, safe, and seen. Okay? So are you happy with what we discussed this morning? Yes. All right, now we go to one of your favorite parts of the session, which is? Lunch. Okay. All right, welcome back. Can you just smile at the person beside you and tell that person or ask that person, did you enjoy your lunch today? Where are the others? CR? Okay, so no worries. We'll still start at exactly 1 p.m. because here's one of the things that we would like to adopt. We want to adopt being on time. Have you ever attended an event and you were on time and the organizers would say, let's just wait for the others, and then 15 minutes, 20 minutes later, you're still waiting for the others, right? So this is one way of me respecting your time. You came here on time, so I won't penalize you by saying, let's wait for the others. So the others are fast learners, they can catch up. Okay? So let's talk about another way to make other people feel seen and appreciated is to know how to love them the way they want to be loved. Because sometimes the way you want to be loved is different from the way the other person wants to be loved. So there are what we call 5 love languages. These were from the research of Dr. Gary Chapman. Is anyone familiar with the 5 love languages? Okay, everyone's familiar. Who's not yet familiar with the 5 love languages? May I see a raise of hands? Okay, that's okay. So, we'll talk about the 5 love languages. Because, okay, here's a short story. A couple of years ago, one of my leaders from the company where I used to work said that she didn't feel that her husband loved her. Ay, gossip ba to? Wait, no, it's not a gossip. So let's just say, I read in a book, a woman said, my husband doesn't love me. And then her friends asked her, why do you say that your husband doesn't love you? Oh, because, I just want him to listen to my stories. But he kept buying me expensive bags and expensive chairs, massage chairs. I don't need any of those. What I need is for my husband to listen to my stories. So is it true that the husband doesn't love the wife? No. Maybe for the husband, he was actually loving the wife by being such a great provider, so he could afford the luxury bags and the very expensive massage chair. But the wife did not feel the love because that was not her love language. Her love language was quality time. So there are 5 love languages, and it's very important to get to know the person that you work with, or the person you're in a relationship with, and know the love language of that person so you can love that person the way he or she needs to be loved. For example, you're in a relationship and you keep buying the person you love expensive items or expensive gifts, and you feel like you're sacrificing so much and you don't feel appreciated by the other person. Maybe because the other person doesn't feel loved that way. Maybe what he or she needs is just for you to tell him, you look gorgeous today, or you work so hard, I really appreciate you. And the person would feel so loved already. This is also the reason why some of the long distance relationships don't survive, because maybe the love language of the other person is physical touch. It could be hug or a pat on the back, and you cannot do that online. If your love language is words of affirmation, you can survive long distance relationship. Your partner just says I love you and you're good for the day. Right? But if that is not your love language, you won't feel it, because you won't feel loved unless someone taps you on the back. Right? In the same way, when you appreciate your team members, when you make your team members feel seen, and you just share some verbal affirmation, thank you, you're so good, and this and that, and for you, from your perspective, you're already appreciative of your team member. But for some reason, that team member doesn't feel appreciated, so much so that when there's this strengths Gallup test, right, the annual test, and then your leader gives you the report, oh, your team members don't feel appreciated. What? I'm already very appreciative of them. I say thank you often, because maybe what they need is chocolate, meaning physical gifts. So we'll get to know the 5 love languages in the context of the workplace. Okay? And ask yourself as well, how do you want to feel appreciated in the workplace? Because sometimes our love language in the workplace is different from our love language with a very close friend. Right? For example, let's say if it's a very close friend, I'm okay if my friend would hug me or hold my hand. In the workplace, I don't feel comfortable if my clients would hold my hand, right? Because we're not yet close. So, we'll just talk about in the context of the workplace. Okay? So, what are your love languages? So, I'm going to show you some examples of how to show these love languages in what are the different ways by which you can show love through these love languages. So let's take a look at the 5 love languages. Words of affirmation. So here are some examples. Personalized thank you notes. It could just be a post-it saying, thank you for leading Zumba a while ago. Oh, and then if words of affirmation is your love language, right? Verbal affirmation saying thank you. Thank you for being so participative. Thank you for sharing with me my strength that I didn't know. Right? So there. Public recognition in meetings. So during meetings, you can say something like, person A did this. Can we just give him or her a round of applause? As simple as that. This is very important. Smile and mention the person's name. This is one of my pet peeves. When people would message me and say, hi, especially if it's my friend, hi, what time are we leaving again later? Like, are you talking to me? Did you send the message to Sha? How about saying, hi, Sha? Right? So mention the person's name, because if you don't mention the person's name, the person receiving that message would say, is this for me? Is this a generic message? Is this a message sent to all? Was this sent to me? Oh, I'd rather not reply. Copy paste. Right? And the other one is, this is from the research of doctors Julie Gottman and John Gottman. So they're a couple. And they could predict with, I think, 90+% accuracy whether a couple would part ways or would remain married for the next few years just by observing them for the next few minutes. Puntahan mo nga. So, so doctors Julie and John Gottman, they would observe married couples within, I think, 15 minutes, and they could predict, I think, with 95% accuracy, oh, this couple will part ways in a couple of years. Oh, this couple will remain married for the next few years. Do you know the secret? Would you want me to spill the beans? Yes. Okay. So the secret is 5:1. So what does that mean? 5 positive interactions for every 1 negative interaction. So when you yelled at your husband or wife or team member, that's 1 negative. You need to counter that with 5 positives. That is why you need to keep on putting in that positivity bank or appreciation bank so that in case your team member makes a mistake and you don't have time to say, okay, 5 appreciation first and then 1, then you can just openly share, hey, this Anna, what you did here is da 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 da. Can you share with me what kind of support you need? And Anna would not feel that offended because you've already deposited 5 positives. So this was based in science. Okay? So with your team members, with your siblings, with your children, ask yourself, how many positives did I deposit today? Can I? So if you just yelled at your, if the interactions is very minimal, and then the interaction is negative, that's all they remember. And it could really create a wall between you and the other person. So keep depositing positives. So words of affirmation. So as we go through these love languages, ask yourself, is this what I want in the workplace? Okay, is this how I feel appreciated? Next is acts of service. For example, it could be offering help. What help do you need with your work? So, let's say I have a problem with work, too much workload, right? So how do I feel supported? Is it when you say, kaya mo yan, Sha, you can do it, Sha? Or, Sha, what support do you need? For me, I'm words of affirmation. So if you say, Sha, you can do it, I can do it, yes, I can do it. If you offer support, maybe that I don't feel so much supported versus, yes, I would feel supported, but I would feel more supported if you just say, I believe in you, Sha, you can do it. That's my fuel. So in your case, how do you want to feel supported? Do you want the actual support or do you want the words of affirmation? So there. So taking notes for a colleague in a meeting. So for example, your colleague is not in a meeting and you want to share the information with her. Helping a new hire on board smoothly. So there is a new hire. How do you make the new hire feel supported? It could be words of affirmation. Or you're new here, welcome to the team. Or it could be, oh, what help do you need? Let me help you with that. Acts of service. Okay? Next is quality time. So in the workplace, this could mean one-on-one check-ins, team lunch or coffee chats, mentoring sessions. So going back to, let's say I am a team member or I am a leader and I have too much workload, right? It could be, Sha, you can do it, words of affirmation, or Sha, let me help you, what kind of help you need? Or, Sha, are you staying late? Okay, I'll stay late here as well. I'll just play on my cell phone. I'm just here. That's quality time. Okay? Next is receiving gifts. Could be as simple as chocolate. It doesn't have to be chocolate, but something that person would appreciate. Birthday or anniversary gifts. Coffee or snack treats. So going back to me having heavy workload, right? Too much workload. So would I feel more supported if you just give me, hey Sha, this is chocolate. Okay, I need to go now. And I could feel so loved if this is my love language. So gifts sa'yo. If bonus is important to you, it means gifts. That could be your love language. And the other one is physical touch. Okay? So we have to be very careful about physical touch, especially in the workplace. So what kind of physical touch is acceptable to you in the workplace? It could be pat on the back, it could be high five, it could be handshake, or it could be just like that. Right? So again, your love language could be different with your children, with your husband, with your teammates. So, quick check-in. Can you share with your seatmate what is your love language? It can be top 1 or top 2. So, gifts sa'yo. So, can you identify your love language in the workplace? Yes? Sino dito hindi? Who among you cannot identify his or her love language? So everyone knows your love language. Okay? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to hear from you what is your love language. There is no need to explain. So let's form a big circle. Big circle. Maybe we can just move the chairs back. So Don, since he is the youngest, he will sing and dance here. No, just kidding. Just kidding, Don. So ito si Don. So since he is the youngest, he will just share his top 1 or top 2 love languages. Okay? And then please, what is the first step to making someone feel seen? Listen. So listen and take notes so that if there is a chance that you will work with Don, now you know how he wants to feel loved. Can you just pat your seatmate and tell your seatmate, you did a great job a while ago? Yon. Physical touch. Physical touch. Diba? So we hit 2 birds with 1 stone. Physical touch and words of affirmation. So if you're not sure what is the love language of your team member, and maybe you didn't ask your team member yet what is his or her love language, listen or take note of how that person responds. For example, if you did like that, good job, Malos, and Malos says, so maybe physical touch is not comfortable with Malos. But if she appreciated that, oh, thank you, so maybe physical touch is his or her love language, right? So you can observe. So for example, in the case of Luis, you tell Luis, good job, ang galing mo talaga, you were so good. And Luis would say, okay. So maybe because it's not that Luis is not appreciative of you giving him appreciation, it's just that it's not his love it is not his love language. So maybe you can ask your team member, how do you feel most appreciated? Gifts, but you have to clarify what kind of gifts. Gifts, physical touch, words of affirmation, time, or what was the other one? Service. So you can ask your team member. There's actually a very short test that you can find online, some free tests, so you can do that with your team as well. You can do that with your family members, with your children, with your husband or wife. So you get to understand each other better. So in the case of men like to give, right? Men like to provide. So maybe the love language of your spouse or girlfriend is not gifts, so you can save a lot of money. Just say, oh, you're so beautiful today, I like your hair, and your significant other would feel so loved and appreciated already. So that's it. That is the secret. Love language. We all have love languages in terms of how we give love and how to receive love. So the secret is to know the love language of the recipient and love that person the way that person wants to be loved, instead of the way you want to love that person. But however, let's say for example, you're in the workplace, and then you notice that your team member would appreciate you through words, and maybe words is not your love language, and then you feel like, oh, why is my team not appreciative of me? Now that you know about love languages, you will know, that is his way of loving me already, of appreciating me already. He's actually appreciative of me. It's just not in the way I want to be appreciated, but it doesn't question the fact that, it doesn't erase the fact that he's already appreciative of me. So there. Make sense? All right, thank you. So there, it is very important to know the love language of your team members so that you know how to support them the way they want to be supported. You know how to speak their language in a way that would resonate with them. In the same way that, so the logic's pretty much the same as when you talk to millennials. What's important to millennials? When you talk to beta kids, what are important to them? When you talk to Gen Zs, what are important to them? Right? Talk to them the way they would understand and they would comprehend. All right? If you get so confused, the key is to listen. Because when you listen, you get a clue, and then you can adjust along the way. Now I'm going to ask everyone to sing. So this is community singing. May iba pa ba tayong mic na gumagana? Is it working? Ayun, it's working. Kim, I can na. Okay. All right, so the song that we're going to sing is called I Can. Who among you are 90s kids in the house? Yes. Okay. Who knows the song I Can? May I see a raise of hands? Janela? Ito. Do you know this song? I Can by Donna Cruz, Doremi. Oh, you know the song now. Okay. Who doesn't know the song? Most likely these are the young ones. 80s kids know this song. How about our young generation? Don, do you know the song? Hindi na? Okay, so we will introduce you to a new song. So, why are we singing this song? Kim, pause mo na. Why are we singing this song? It's because it is a reminder to us that we have the power to create connections in our workplaces, in our personal lives, in our professional lives. I can. We can. Okay? So I'm going to pass the mic. Please sing just one line. Don't worry, there's lyrics on screen. And then pass it to the next person. Huwag niyong solohin lahat, okay? And may I invite everyone to please stand up. Let's sing. And when you sing, okay, here's the key. When you sing, can you sing with so much enthusiasm and yung feel F na F, you really feel the moment so you can achieve success, right? Sounds familiar? Yes, success. Okay. So I'm going to give the mic. And by the way, just to give you a quick background, this was the song I sang in front of 400 people. Okay, so please sing with me. Again, please sing with so much passion and feelings. Feel the moment, okay? Performance level.
Salamat kay Jerome.
Yes, salamat kay Jerome. Can I really build authentic connections with my team members, with my family, with my friends? The answer is... I can! Yes, you can. And if you want inspiration, you can sing that song. So it's like a reminder to yourself, I can do this. And it doesn't have to be in terms of just making connections. It could be in terms of, can I really lead my team well? And the answer is, I can. Do I have what it takes to create magic in my workplace? The answer is, I can. Okay. So now, we're almost done. And I just want to hear from maybe 2 or 3 of you, what was your biggest takeaway from this session so far? So Kim will move around with the mic. So 2 or 3 from you. Can we choose who haven't you heard yet speak in the plenary? Who do you want to suggest or volunteer?
That's
Okay. Kevin, all right. Palakpakan natin si Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. What was your biggest takeaway, Kevin?
Hello po.
Hi.
Ano po, hindi pa namin na-take out. Siguro po yung earlier topic regarding dun sa
High quality
na kasi parang yun yung parang highlight nung nitong training today. Especially yung how did we build up from yung parang simple question then to sharing na parang yun yung parang magiging guide sa amin or sa akin itself on how to communicate better the next time.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. Bigyan ng jacket. Okay, let's hear from one more from this side. Who do you want to volunteer from this side? Kevin, you choose.
Mel na lang.
Si Mel, okay.
Good afternoon. So, take away from these six sessions, so all of them. So that.
Safest answer.
How you connect with people. So, the importance of it, kung paano makikipag-connect with, not only with my teammate, but definitely with my family, friends, and other people around me. So, how to understand what are they coming from. So, yung parang pinaka stuck word for me is listen. So, listen. So, yun.
Thank you, Mel. Can we give a round of applause to Mel? Thank you so much. So we've given everyone a chance to speak, right, and to be heard, especially in the mini group sessions and also in the big group. So now what we're going to do is I want to hear from you. Okay, so after each session we'll have this little evaluation. I want to hear from you. So I'll give you 3 minutes to answer this. And one of the questions there is, what are your challenges when it comes to communicating with your team members and leaders? And please take time to really answer that part because I'm going to get information from that so I can fine-tune the next session. Alright, so because our next session will be about positive communication. We'll talk about the difficult communications that you have with your teammates. So please take time to answer that part as well. Thank you. So I'll give you 3 minutes. Okay na? Alright, so then with the evaluation, then with the nickname. Okay. So, sino yung wala last meeting na hindi nakapag-strengths test? Only 2, right? You. Okay. Yeah, please go to Kim so she can give to you. Please go to Kim.
Nagbigay lang po siya.
Yes, so palagay na lang din ng nickname dito. So even if you did not take the test, can you also write your nickname at the back of your ID? All right, so you're done. So if you're done, can you just submit back to us your IDs with your nicknames? We'll give the IDs back to you next meeting. Sure. Yes. Of course. I think we'll just have one group picture later and then we're done for today. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Sha.